Hi everyone. My name is Oliver, and at Tiny Box Systems, we are using space technologies to build houses in 48 hours. This is a company that I wanted to start since I was a kid, actually. Back then, when I was 9, we just moved to Canada, and we lived in this fire-damaged apartment for a while because that was still half of our income. And ever since then, I've really dreamed of a world where the housing cost is so minimal that it's not a non-factor in people's budget. And fast forward a few, 20 years, the situation got worse. The houses is more expensive, and primarily the reason is because we're still building houses the same way as we've been building for the last 50 years. There's about 50,000 parts in a home, and it's all done mostly by manual labor. Even the prefab houses, a modular home you see, they're just built by this manual labor with the same parts inside a factory. So with rising labor costs and not more labor, that's why we have a shortage, that's why we have unaffordable housing. On top of that, with additional climate regulations coming in, houses are going to require even more parts and more labor to build. So that's going to really exacerbate the situation. What we're doing is we're taking the tens of thousands of parts and combining them down to just a few subsystems that can plug and play at scale. And what I mean by that is, for example, this wall here, right? Behind this, there's probably hundreds of parts. There's the paint that you see, there's putty, there's tape, there is 2x4s, there's insulation, there's sheathing, there's siding, there's tieback, there's a lot of things in there, and all done by manual labor. That's what's adds up to the 50,000 components. And what we have is essentially, okay, perfect. We've taken, so all of that, all of those hundreds of parts, it becomes one single panel that is finished on both sides. It's mass produced in a factory. It has a vacuum insulated core, so it's extremely insulated. It connects to each other like Legos, a special lock, and all that still light enough that you and I can lift it without needing a heavy equipment. Another component is our bioreactor sewage, which essentially purifies and recycles your water so that you don't need to dig up trenches and for septic, for all the plumbing, saving you months of work and tens of thousands of dollars. And overall, the system is essentially all plug and play. You build a house within days instead of months, and you're able to build an entire neighborhood in months instead of years. We are, and compared to traditional prefabs, we are able to actually achieve $100 per square foot, which is extremely low on the market. We are able to build, we are taking a fabless approach on this, so we design the technology and we have a network of 10, 12 suppliers that we work with to produce this without us having to put in the CapEx. And we have these technologies that enable you to build not only just the house, but everything around it, like the foundation, the sewage, the electricity, and all that, all plug and play. So who needs this, right? So our starting market, or go-to-market, is where people cannot build otherwise. For example, Arctic. In Arctic currently, it costs $1 million plus for just a small 2-bedroom home because it's very expensive to ship stuff there. It's very expensive to get labor up there. It's very cold, and they don't have any sewage system because the ground is permanently frozen. You can't put a septic tank in there. And so what we have is, at a quarter of cost, we can build something that's extremely insulated, extremely fast to build, has a bioreactor pure sewage system, and we can scale that very quickly. We're delivering one of these units in this summer, along with 8 other pioneers that we have on our team. So we have Charlie on the left. He's an architectural engineer. He used to be a general contractor. Puya used to build, his previous company built hardware that launched into space, hence some of the, the space toilet or the bioreactor toilet that we have. And for me, I previously have scaled a manufacturing company. So together, Charlie can build something that's beautiful, Puya can have the hard technology, and I can make it cheap. So I mentioned our go-to-market is these places where it's really hard to build, like in rural areas. Our long-term strategy is we will be partnering with developers to build homes with our kit instead of going to Home Depot and buy 2x4s. And our 5-year plan is we will have 40 developers or 50 developers building 40 homes each with our system. They're able to build that much quicker than traditional materials, and so they can do actually 40 homes instead of 4 homes per site. And that's it.